Hi everyone, I'm Andrew, and all the world loves the clown. And by loves, I mean lives in utter terror of. Coulrophobia, the fear of clowns, is a very real syndrome, and I honestly don't see what's so funny about people with odd makeup choices blowing up balloons and squeezing into tiny cars.
We all can't be florists or dishwashers. Some of us have to be artists.
To be fair, most clowns are upstanding citizens who just want to bring joy to the children of the world. They're still terrifying, but they mean well. When it comes to horror, however, jeering gestures and hateful harlequins have become an integral part of the genre, and we're here to help you survive the circus. So grab your grease paint, blow up some balloons, and get ready to laugh till you scream, because this is how to kill killer clowns. Evil clowns have been a trope since the days of Edgar Allan Poe, and famous operas like Pagliacci have featured brutal buffoons dating back to 1892. Not to mention a certain clown prince of crime that's been wreaking havoc on Gotham since 1939. The most famous real-life example surfaced in the 1970s, when the world was shocked to learn that serial killer John Wayne Gacy used to entertain his community as Pogo the Clown.
I can't believe that's you.
You better. I got a clown license to prove it.
Stephen King codified the concept with It a few years later in 1986, but we've already covered Pennywise, and Mr. J deserves an episode all his own. So we're gonna shine a spotlight on some more obscure murderous merrymakers, like the one in Eli Roth's 2014 film simply called Clown, where a terrifying transformation was terminated through demonic decapitation. Clown takes a different approach than most movies about perilous punchinellos.
What kind of makeup do you usually use?
I'm not a clown!
Instead of being a disgruntled carny or an omnipotent alien, our hero/villain, Kent, actually finds himself in more of a were-clown situation.
Just take the fucking thing out!
After the hired entertainment bails on his son's birthday party, Kent dons a spooky suit he finds in a basement, only to realize that the wig, nose, and clothes have been permanently bonded to his skin. At first, it's all a big joke, but when his skin is ripped away while hacking off the fake honker, Kent realizes that something very bad is happening, and soon he begins to feel a gurgling, insatiable hunger for flesh. As per modern horror tradition, he seeks some advice/exposition from a creepy expert named Carlson, who informs him that the suit is actually the skin of an ancient demon known as the Cloyne.
Over the centuries, the legend of the Cloyne was forgotten. He became the clown.
Which won't rest until it devours 5 children or its head is separated from its body.
What the
At first, Kent tries to fight this hunger. He shoots himself in the mouth to no avail, and when he tries to saw his own head off, he inadvertently claims his first victim.
Mr. Clown!
He eventually gives into his bloodlust and heads for a Chuck E. Cheese, where a kid can be a kid, can be a meal. When Kent comes for the final child, his own, his wife knocks the demon's head off with a hammer and yanks off that last pesky piece of flesh, putting a stop to her husband's possession. Now, Roth's Clown is far from the only funny man with infernal origins. Demons, cults, and clowns are a match made in hell, and believe me, things can get even weirder. Like in the 2012 Irish/Swedish/British film called Stitches, where its titular terror ends up scrambled. Stitches is an embarrassment to the art form, a stumbling, sleazy, unfunny clown who shows up late to his bookings and fails to even remotely entertain his clients. Granted, the brats at Tommy's birthday party are a particular pain in the ass.
You're an asshole, you big dumb clown.
But things go a little too far when a little bastard named Vinny ties his clown shoes together and Stitches falls face first onto a butcher knife twice. The clown dies eventually, and when Tommy goes to pay his respects, he finds an obscene ritual occurring at his grave. Turns out Stitches was part of a cult led by a clown called the Motley, and part of his soul is trapped inside an egg with his face painted on it. 6 years later, Stitches returns from the grave and seeks revenge on the kids that killed him, who are all conveniently gathered together for Tommy's 17th birthday party.
Hey, thanks for coming. You. That's Jeff.
Stitches busts out his entire bag of tricks on the unsuspecting adolescents, tearing a live rabbit from one of their throats, scooping out the brains of another one, and making the most messed up balloon animals in history.
Woof, woof.
Tommy eventually realizes the source of Stitch's power and makes a desperate attempt to find the eggs. Unfortunately, Stitches himself is holding on to his soul, but after Vinny trips him up yet again, he drops the egg, and when it smashes, he explodes in a shower of yolk.
I never thought I'd end up with egg on my face.
You can always count on that f***er Vinny. Now let's move past the paranormal and explore the outer reaches of the universe, because plenty of extraterrestrials have taken on the form of funny-faced freaks. Pennywise is probably the most famous example, but he's Mork from Ork compared to the killer clowns from outer space. And when it comes to eliminating these aliens, the nose knows. Now, the monsters in this cheesy 80s classic aren't even technically clowns. They're just an alien species that happens to look like them. I guess, in an infinite universe, there's gotta be at least one planet out there where the dominant species evolved into monstrous clowns who drink people through crazy straws. So I'll allow it. Just this once. I'll allow it.
What are you gonna do? Knock my block off?
The killer clowns arrive on Earth via meteor that transforms into a cavernous circus tent deep within the woods. And when the locals arrive to inspect the UFO, they find an army of brightly colored psychos who systematically slaughter them using all kinds of silly shit.
What are you gonna do with those pies, boys?
They'll cocoon you into cotton candy, melt your face off with a killer cream pie, sick the balloon hounds on you, and even eat you via shadow puppet. Somehow.
Holy shit!
Believe it.
While they're definitely some of the creepiest creatures in the history of latex foam rubber, the clowns have an all too obvious weakness: their bright red bulbous noses. If you can pierce their proboscis, it'll send the clown spinning before exploding in a shower of green sparks. Even the towering Jojo the Clownzilla can be laid low with a teeny prick from a police badge, blowing up the humongous Harlequin and his spaceship once and for all. Now, not all evil clowns are imps and aliens. Sometimes they're just your run-of-the-mill psychos with a taste for theatricality.
Oh, little puppy boy! Go away, you scare me. Me? I make with fright, I scare?
And most of the time, they share the same weakness as any mere mortal. So let's finish up with a quick lightning round. After all, if you're a slasher in need of a gimmick, why go through the trouble of stitching together a new mask or finding a signature weapon when you can just riff off a deep-seated fear shared by millions around the globe?
What's the matter, kid? Don't you like clowns? If you ain't got a reason why you hate clowns, I'm gonna kill your whole f***ing family.
It's clearly one of Rob Zombie's favorite tropes, as evidenced by Captain Spaulding, who seemingly perishes in a hail of police bullets at the end of The Devil's Rejects. Though it looks like he's coming back for the sequel, 3 from Hell.
I'm just a clown dancing for the friends of mankind.
Now, if you're looking for a less ambiguous depiction of clowns getting killed, Zombies 31 is chock full of them. 6 to be precise. A gang of heads that hunt a group of helpless carnies in a twisted game. But most of the fools fall to chainsaws, blades, and blunt force trauma. As for Twisty the Clown in American Horror Story, he's clearly made of pretty hardy stuff. He survives being dropped on his head as an infant.
It wasn't her fault. Too many cocktails.
And blowing his own jaw off with a shotgun. But when Edward Mandrake comes to collect Twisty's soul, the killer clown succumbs to a fatal stab wound. Then he comes back as a ghost. But this is how to kill. Not how to kill things twice. Get that shit out of there.
Don't mind him, folks. He's just a little bit kooky.
Thousands of twisted individuals have utilized funny hats and floppy shoes as instruments of fear. From Killjoy to Camp Blood, the Clown at Midnight to ICP. There are a dozen more examples we could have covered here, and we know exactly how to take them down. So please, send in the clowns. We're ready.
When you want to scream, put away that frown and never be scared of a clown.
Thanks so much for watching, everyone. I want to know how you would take out a killer clown. Would you step on its big shoes? Would you cut the brakes in its tiny little car? Or would you just send it back home to the circus? Leave a comment to let me know, and please subscribe to Now This Nerd for more Slash Course.